everybody. Welcome in to the Satanic Panic Podcast. My name is Zombie Sleeping. I am a horror VTuber and failed final girl, and I am joined by
Hi, my name is Maddie. I am a neon devil. Yahoo!
Yahoo! And we like to watch movies and talk about them together. Today, we are going to be talking about Frankenstein, the 2025 Guillermo del Toro movie that is the adaptation of the 1818 novel by Mary Shelley.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, it really was. That's a lot. Like, I was reading it too, and I still couldn't say it.
You had the script ready and everything.
I did. I have the wiki pulled up.
This shit's serious.
It is. I'm really trying. I gotta put
excited.
the pen down. I'm like clicking it and everything. That's gonna pick up on the recording.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
You're in the zone. You're in the zone.
Yeah.
Auto
I watched this the other day for the first time. I really wanted to, when we were doing like the pre-setup for like what we want to talk about, like we both like put out like a list of movies of like this would be fun to talk about just to
Mhm.
try something new. This is the first
Yeah.
episode. We picked out a handful of movies. We're gonna record like a few of them in advance and just see how we like it.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I feel like whenever we've talked about movies with each other before, it's always been like a really fun conversation. So I'm excited to pick your brain and see what you think about different movies. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I do too. I've wanted to do something like this for a little bit, but I was always like kind of caught up on like the logistics of like how to do it. Cause like it's
I
one
get
thing to
that.
have a conversation with somebody, but like it's just sitting there for like by yourself talking about a movie into a mic, it's really like,
You don't want to be like what is it, cinema sins about it and like, oh, with this they accidentally messed up the camera angle on this one shot, so ding.
No, I like movies, so I didn't want to do that.
I think it's definitely more interesting when like you can have like an actual conversation about something rather than just monologuing and yapping by yourself.
Yeah, I completely agree. And this one has a lot to talk about, I think.
It's
There's so
meaty.
much.
No pun
Yeah.
intended.
Did you read the novel?
I did. I think I like read it for something in high school, but like, however, like 13-year-old Maddie like did not understand like the entire depth of the novel, if that makes any sense. I feel like I
Yeah.
could have, if I were to like approach it now, like being like my slightly larger brain, I probably would understand a lot of the subtleties and things more.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in the same boat. I didn't read it in like high school or anything, but
Mhm.
it was quite a while ago when I read it, and I do think that I could have benefited from a simplified version of the text.
Yeah. I think it was also like I don't remember which version that I read, but I think it had like a lot of like gothic language that was also kind of like difficult to
Hmm.
digest at the time. And I wonder if like I read it now if I would be able to understand it more.
I mean,
And
probably, right?
yeah, I would hope so at least. um,
Like, uh,
um but like watching the movie really like made me like interested in going back to the novel, which I think that is like a good sign for a movie where it makes you want to like look up the source material, makes you like
mhm.
reinterested.
Yeah, I remembered enough about the novel to where I do remember like some of the key differences between the novel and this.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like that's getting a little bit ahead of myself though. Um, we want to just kind of like go in and talk about it kind of in order, I suppose.
Yeah. What's the synopsis? What are we talking about here for the
Uh,
people at home?
for the people at home, if you don't know Frankenstein,
If you
Frankenstein,
haven't been to if you haven't been to Spirit Halloween lately.
like if you live under a rock, I guess. Frankenstein is it is a film about Victor Frankenstein, a scientist who delves into, I believe in the novel it's like alchemy, like he has an interest in alchemy,
Mhm.
and he wants to bridge the gap between life and death and master death. He wants to just kind of he wants to play God a little bit. He wants to be able to bring things back from the dead, sew things together. One of the titles of Frankenstein is a modern Prometheus.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Hmm.
The more you know.
So he creates a creature, brings it to life, and he's like, "Oh, actually,
Being a dad is hard.
He's like, "Oh, this sucks, actually." And he spends the entire time being like, avoiding fatherhood.
That was actually, like, one of the, like, points that I wanted to talk to you about the movie, but I think we're talking about, the entire movie, like, sequentially, so I don't wanna, like, get ahead or
I don't
chronologically, I don't wanna get ahead of myself.
I feel like that's a pretty big theme of it. I feel like it's fine to talk about it.
I really thought it was interesting how the movie, like, went into, kind of like nature versus nurture a little bit, because you
Mhm.
can see throughout the movie Victor, Victor Frankenstein, um, his dad kind of treated him, like, terribly.
Mhm.
There was, like, a whole big scene of Victor's dad kind of, wrapping his knuckles with, like, a ruler and, being, like, very strict on him and trying to, I guess, push him to be like a doctor, right?
Yeah.
But that
We've all been there.
cold and like austere relationship kind of translated to like Victor's relationship with his own creature, like his like son by proxy. And I thought that
Mm.
was really interesting how like that like cycle repeated itself until it was broken.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even that wasn't something that I had initially picked up on, I suppose, like the cycle of abuse there. No, that's a good point. I feel like that's a good segue into like kind of like talking about part 1 of the movie.
Mhm.
So the movie is broken up into two parts. The first
Yeah.
half of the movie is through Victor's point of view, and the second half of the movie is through the creature's point of view, which I think is really interesting. I really like that they did that.
Right? I remember there's, like, a couple of memes going around where, like, oh, like, part 2, the creature story, and everyone, like, leans in. That's exactly how I
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
felt.
right.
Um, but, I thought it was in like, trying to think of the right word to say. I blanked. I blanked so hard.
So,
Duh.
um,
Um,
flipping through your thesaurus, like,
I could pull down my glasses. And I thought it was interesting too, because they had Mia Goth's character, who both plays as Victor's mother, which is
mhm.
really funny because they just, like, slapped a, like, prosthetic eyebrow
Pair of
on her,
eyebrows on her.
and it totally, like, changed her
It does
entire
a lot
appearance,
of
which is so
work.
funny.
It does a lot of work.
That one piece of silicone, like, did so much to, like, completely change who she was.
Yeah.
But it's funny how a lot of, like, characters, like, carried over from part 1 to part 2,
Mhm.
um, but they, like, of course, like, differed slightly. So I feel like there was, like, a cool through line with that.
Yeah.
Um
How very gothic to have the decision for, like, both the mother and the muse to be played by the same actress.
right? How
How
very
incredibly
Freudian, it's
gothic.
perfect.
Yeah.
And I something else that I noticed, I one of my big, like, things, that I that I've picked up on from this is embarrassing, from watching Breaking Bad, is I feel like, Vince Gilligan plays a lot with color theory, so I feel like watching any form of, like, movie or any media now, that's kinda like what my, like, eye, like, picks up on now, and I noticed that in the first part of the movie, like, in Victor's part, there was a lot of, like, red, very,
Mhm.
like, violent, angry reds, especially, like, on, like, Victor's gloves that he's, like, wearing throughout the movie, and his mother is wearing a lot of, like, red, it's, like, very, like, violent, abrasive color,
Mhm.
and I think even trying to think about how, um, throughout when he, like, moves to that mansion and to, like, start actually, like, making the work into creating the creature, everything is kind of, like, washed away color-wise, like, it's a lot of, like, grays, like a cinder block, like concrete, that kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
until his like that world like erupts in flame and color, and like that's what kind of sparks more change later in the movie.
Yeah. No, totally. I do think like the color story does have a lot to do, like it does tell a lot about Victor's current mental state.
Yeah.
There was like that explosion of color right at the beginning. But like aside here, I'm such a color person when it comes to talking about
Yeah.
movies. Like that's probably going
Me
to be like
too.
the main one of the main things that I talk about is just like it's like, do I like the colors in this movie? Yeah.
I get that though. It really makes a movie though. I
It
feel like I've
really
noticed
does.
with like a lot of like modern media, a lot of like modern like film, I feel like they don't have that same like depth of color or
Mhm.
like film grain, and everything looks like a TikTok. Like everything looks so flat and it really bothers me, but I don't think that that happened in this movie,
No.
which like I would really hope not. But like
Like immediately we open up on that like really beautiful like blue, and then we have like the
mhm.
greens and like the like just like blues and whites, just everything mixed in. It's just like really open, super super strong. I love a
Mhm.
horror movie that opens up on like snow and blue. That's why I like
Yeah.
The Thing so much. It's why Iced almost got me. Iced is not a very good movie,
Yeah.
but it has a really good opening shot.
You're like, "Damn." It could have been so cool.
Yeah, really could have. But no, I think it has a lot to do with how Victor is like feeling at the time of the shot.
Mhm.
Um those reds are very like obviously like very symbolic of his mother. His mother is like coated in red when we first see her.
Yeah.
Um and I feel like red is kind of like this like it almost works as like an omen almost to disaster. Like characters that are draped in red like typically
Yeah.
die.
I didn't pick up on that, but you're right. And I wonder if that has to do because throughout like the movie there's a like a vision that Victor's always seeing in his dreams where it's like a almost I think like he calls it like an angel of death, and it's like this angel like cloaked in red with like
Mhm.
flames behind it, kind of like gesturing or kind of offering like their hand towards Victor in the dream. So like I'm
Mhm.
wondering if like that probably has to be related.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
It's like it's just death follows Victor wherever he goes, and like a lot like so much of it, almost all of it pretty much is like of his own making.
That's true.
But
I've seen like around where because Victor is also wearing like red gloves throughout the
mhm.
movie, so like people are like insinuating that that's supposed to be like the blood on his hands,
Mhm.
like literally. But I don't know.
I feel I don't feel like they're wrong. I do feel like that's very literal.
Right? Like I feel like that's a very like surface level take, like Twitter take. So I'm like, okay, I guess. um,
I've seen things where it's like also like the red is like symbolic of his grief that follows him everywhere, like the grief of losing his mother,
huh.
which is why like I feel like every time we see Elizabeth, like if it's a scene where Elizabeth is being particularly favorable to him, she's in red in some way. Like we see her like
Yeah.
when we first meet Elizabeth, she has like the bonnet.
Mhm.
And in that scene like where he's like trying to get her to cheat on his brother with him, um she's wearing red.
That's true. It's also the scene where like it's in his lab, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. You know what I also just realized just now?
Hmm.
Victor lost his mother, but he also I think was trying to create life very similar to like what a mother would. So I
Mhm.
feel like that's another way that he's like perpetuating another cycle for him,
Yeah. I
like
know that
creating
was like
life
a
via mother kind of thing.
yeah, creating life like without creating life without the mother was like a really big theme of the novel, I remember. Like that was
Hmm.
like people's like really big take from the novel was that he's kind of like a like the sacrilegious pursuit of life regardless of like God's intention. and
Mhm.
like the making of a like life without the involvement of a woman.
True.
I think
Hmm.
that I think that they the way that they did it in this adaptation is really interesting though, because it's stemming from the grief of the loss of his mother. So like
Yeah,
creation of the life without the pain of birth and the dangers of birth.
but then he kind of created
It
pain
is
inadvertently in another way. So
yeah. I saw like this really good shot of him like in the bed
Mhm.
whenever he thinks that he's failed, and then the creature gets up and is it's like, "Hey, Dad, can I get in bed with you?" Um,
Can we snuggle?
I had a nightmare. Uh, where he's like draped in that satiny red blanket, and it's almost like that shot is like almost like the aftermath of birth, where he's like
Yeah.
draped in red in the bed. Like, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, you're right. Huh.
I think another thing that like kind of tipped me off to the idea of like using red as like that omen for death is also William. Like whenever he gets out, like that scene where they're both young and he's getting out of the bed. William is like still wrapped in the red blanket and he dies later.
I didn't pick up on that. That's very astute.
Adjust my glasses.
Yes.
But Victor's tale is really it's really interesting because like Victor is such an unreliable narrator. I feel
Yeah,
like
he definitely is.
I feel like I would be willing to bet that most of the affection that Elizabeth feels towards Victor in Victor's tale is just him, like interpreting it that way.
Yeah, because like what they had like one conversation at dinner, and then he's immediately like, "You will be mine."
Yeah, right. It's like you look like my mother. I have to marry you. Um,
She's so bad. She looks just like my mom, bro.
an epidemic of gothic literature. I can't like people who are like shocked and like appalled by like that kind of shit in like gothic literature. I'm like, are you new?
Right? Like it's been going on for forever. Like I don't.
That's just how that shit's written.
Right. And
I
does
feel
that not
like
make it more interesting too to like have like so many like layers of things like happening in like a story where like you it kind of like gives you more food for thought and kind of
yeah.
like you see the actions a lot of or you're able to infer a lot of the actions of a character based off of like little subtleties like that. I don't know.
You would think.
No, I want everything to be told outright to me. So that way if I'm kind of scrolling on my phone on Facebook, I can understand the movie.
Oh god. I also think it's just this like epidemic of people who are like unwilling to be uncomfortable by art.
Yeah. I definitely I am failing to like think of other examples right now, but I feel like I've definitely like seen other things recently in art and in movies where an artist will make some kind of like unsavory statement, I guess, and then people will like interpret that as a reflection of like the person who's making the art
Mhm.
instead of like looking at it as like they're trying to convey a message. They're trying to like say something. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I totally do. I totally do.
Mhm.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But going back to Frankenstein,
I feel like us getting
um,
off topic is just going to be an inevitable part of
yeah,
this.
definitely. I have my own yapitational poll, so I'm sorry.
No, it's
um,
yaptational pole.
yeah, the degree of my yaptitude is kind of it can like suck you in. Um,
That's really good.
thanks. um, but another like interesting thing I felt with color theory and we were talking about Elizabeth earlier. It's really funny how she I feel like had like a lot of she was wearing a lot of like blues and greens and very like natural hues. especially throughout like the first chapter. Of
Mhm.
course, with the aside from when she's wearing that like like that deep red when she goes to
Yeah.
visit Victor in the lab. But I feel like her wearing those like natural colors, almost like the insectoid like shapes, I think that also drew Victor in because she was kind of an embodiment of like nature and life.
Yeah.
So he was like kind of drawn to that like a moth to the flame kind of because he was like she was the life that he was trying to create also.
Mhm. Or it's like almost like he wanted to have this like mastery and like
Yeah.
determination over life, so he wanted to have ownership of her as well as the symbol of life.
Yeah. Mhm. I
No,
definitely
that's
agree.
yeah. I I think that her position, her scientific position is so interesting because hers is not divorced from her faith. It's like
Yeah.
her interest in science is very much intertwined with her faith. And
Mhm.
he's like so dismissive of that immediately.
Yeah, like he's like, "Oh, whatever, you're gonna play with your bugs." And I don't know. It's so dumb.
Yeah. He's really something in this. Like his entire like dynamic with Elizabeth is just so bizarre and interesting.
It really is. I feel like it's like I feel like it was kind of emblematic. I don't think that's the right word. Emblematic. Big word. I can't think of big word.
It has more than it has more than 3 syllables. It's tough.
It's like a representation of like how I feel like a lot of men who are in those like scientific or like quote unquote smarter fields kind of like view like the women who work around them like as their peers, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like even though they are like the same on the same playing field intellectually, I feel like a lot of men, their tendency is to like look down upon women even who are in the similar like career field. So it's kind of funny how that like happened even at the time period of this movie. Well, especially I guess thinking
Yeah.
about it, but
He's like willing to entertain her notions as long as they are entertaining to him.
yeah, kind of like oh, like he finds it like amusing or like
Yeah.
until she challenges him.
He's like
What do you mean? This 18 is it 1800s that the movie is based in?
1800s, yeah, like 1850s, I think.
This misogynistic 1800s man still looks down on women the old-fashioned way. Stupid.
Florida man hates women so much he has a baby without one.
Dude, he becomes the woman. Dude.
Oh, one of the things
Yeah.
one of the things that I really like about Victor,
Mhm.
though, this is going back a little bit in the timeline in when he's like talking to like the college that he's presenting at.
Mhm.
Like everybody but the judges are like super into what he's talking about,
Yeah, they're like, "Oh my god, dude."
which is really I think that the way that they treat Victor's practice in this adaptation is really interesting because every other iteration of it is just like people are like this is Satan's work, this isn't of a god, this is blasphemous. But like everybody here is just like, do you want to buy a dead body? No, like you're rich, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, come step right up.
You want that one? Hit him, hit him. He's not gonna like he's gonna be dead in 15 minutes anyway. It doesn't matter.
Do you think that was because it's a little bit different than the book, do you think that was like Mr. Del Toro kind of like putting the camera back at like the audience being like, "Yeah, you sickos, you like this?" Like looking at this like carnage and stuff? Or do you think that I don't know.
I
I
I don't think it's necessarily antagonistic to the audience so much.
Mhm.
as much as it is like kind of like I definitely do think it's a little bit of like turning the camera back towards us in the way of like, do you think that this is crazy because this still kind of happens?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, this is insane, right? Turns the camera back towards us.
This is crazy, right, guy?
Like, how could
Maybe
this
we
rich
should.
man get away with this?
Yeah, you know. Hmm.
I think that Henrik, I think is his name, his benefactor is also a really
Yeah.
interesting character, because at first I was
Mhm.
like, at first I thought Henrik was going to be like the Henry Clerval character, which is like
Mhm.
Frankenstein's friend in the novel, like his close confidant, but he kind of ended up taking on this like more of a like the lab assistant without actually being the lab assistant type of character.
Yeah, it was interesting. I thought that like he was going to I don't know, his arc didn't really go the way I thought it was going to go, and not necessarily in like a bad way. I was just more like, I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I really wasn't sure where, because at first I thought like it was going to be a bit more reminiscent of Henry, because of like there seemed to be like a thing kind of between the two of them at the very beginning. I don't know if you picked up on that, where it's just like,
Yeah, a little
yeah,
bit.
right.
I'm like, are they like?
I was like, is he like?
Do you want him bad right now?
I was like, I think he did, but uh, so that's why I kind of thought it was going to go that direction. But I guess that still kind of works, because like the lab assistant and like the sidekick to the mad scientist is very reminiscent of like Renfield. So it's like this like
Mhm.
adoring assistant that like looks up to you no matter how badly you treat them type
Right.
of character. And he's not that, but I think that's what he's supposed
No.
to be stemming off of.
Mm.
Like a
The
reimagining of
Stockholm
that
syndrome.
trope.
But I think it was interesting too because in the end, didn't Heinrich, he wanted to use the research for his own like ulterior motive in the
Mm-hmm.
end. But it's so funny
Yeah.
how like Victor like turns up his nose at like Heinrich being the brain inside the vessel. However, like this whole entire time, Victor like he didn't really seem to like be held back by like his own endeavor until like that very moment. He's like, "Whoa, you can't do that." No, like that's like the moment that like his like morals like kick in.
Well, I think it's less of his morals, and like because Henrik had syphilis. So like I feel like
Uh,
Victor was worried that the syphilis had infected his brain.
mm, I did not pick up on that.
Cuz cuz I I really was curious about what the favor was going to be, that like that favor they threw up at the
Mhm.
beginning of their relationship. Like I had no idea
Right.
where that was going to go. Um
Right.
I did not put money on put my brain in the mech.
I did put me in, coach. I didn't foresee that happening.
No, no, not at all. I really thought I really thought that character was going to go elsewhere. It's interesting because William kind of took on the role of Henry a little bit more than Heinrich did, which is
Mhm.
interesting because William, he's like a little boy in the novel. Like he dies pretty quickly.
He had to get extra screen time with this movie.
They let him grow up and have a wife and well, almost a wife. Like
Almost.
almost, they almost get
Except
there.
Victor is over here, Mr. Steal Your Girl, I guess.
One of the funniest scenes that like actually kind of made me crack up is Victor in the church.
Mhm.
Like when Elizabeth goes to confess him, and she's just like, I have to confess about my
Yeah.
brother-in-law, and
Mhm.
he's like, do you want him carnally? And she's like, no, I actually kind of hate that nerd. He sucks and he's stupid.
It's
And he's like,
oh,
oh.
fuck.
Like he really went in there thinking like he's like,
Oh man. Do you want him so very bad? Be so honest. And she's like, no, he kind
Not
of sucks.
really.
Um, forgive me, father. I really hate him. And he's like, no,
He's like, you can't hate him that much,
it
right?
can't be that. No, I kind of do, father. Ugh.
And I hate him and his stupid shoes that are loud in the courtyard, so I can hear him stalking me. You freaking weirdo.
He's like clenching his fist. No,
I'm caught. She got me.
rats.
It's- I like that scene was so funny.
It got me too. I liked that one a lot.
He really was like feeling himself a little bit. He was like, I'm gonna get all the tea. Like she wants me so bad, it makes her look stupid. She's like, I hate him and I hope he dies. Oh
Oh, my bad. Like he's like
shit.
putting his hair behind his ear and everything. Yeah, what do you think about him? Yeah. Oh.
My only grievance with that is I wish that she should have let the bit go on longer.
She could have let him have it more.
Yeah, right? Like imagine if she just doesn't clarify and they like eat dinner together the next day.
So like she doesn't like let up that it was
Yeah.
like that she knew that she was in on the bit. She just like goes like all in on it.
Yeah.
And he's like devastated.
I would have loved that like that like silent like 3-minute scene of just like sound of silverware on plates and like drinking and he's like
And he's like, "So I heard did you go to the like church earlier?" And she's like, "Mm, yeah, well, why?"
no reason.
Oh, that's fine.
Stupid. Stupid. He's so stupid.
He, for someone so smart, he is so stupid, which I guess is like
He's
the whole bit of the movie.
so stupid. I thought that I really enjoyed the dynamic between Elizabeth and the creature, like right off.
Yeah. Hmm.
I thought that that was very, very sweet, very gentle.
I agree. And isn't it so funny that like, I don't know, that's all I feel like the creature was wanting was just some matter of nurture or nurturing
Right.
relationship. And I
Just,
think it's interesting that like the female character was the one who's able to do it.
and that's how it always is, right?
Yeah.
I feel like especially within in Elizabeth's position, being in the time period that she is where marriage is like this transfer of ownership to a man, like I feel like she
Hmm.
would have a very unique position to come in empathetically to be
Yeah.
like we are all like we are owned.
Hmm.
We are both
I
like
didn't
kind
think
of
about
like
that.
we are both like stuck in this system that doesn't really understand us and will hate us just for being who we are.
Yeah. Hmm. I didn't really think about that. That's a really interesting point.
I think that's part of like why Victor is so like like intense about his like pursuit of Elizabeth too, because I feel like this might be a little bit of a reach here.
Hmm.
Victor views himself and William very much in the same. Like he like compares himself to William a lot as like being his foil and like them being like
Hmm.
two sides of the same. So I feel like with him being like, well, William and I share a name, you share my name, therefore I have an extension of ownership over you as well.
Oh. I can see that. I definitely see
Freak.
that.
Freak.
Weirdo.
Rico.
Seriously.
The
But I feel like a lot of like especially like the first like interactions between like the creature and have you seen like people like call him Adam?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty I feel like Adam is a pretty common name for him. I
Mm,
feel like I've seen that a lot.
right. I've noticed that recently. Um, but when Elizabeth is first interacting with the creature, I thought it was really interesting how she like had like her hair completely undone and she was like all
Mhm.
like ethereal and white. I thought it was like a very like pure, like natural image for her to like present, if that makes sense.
Yeah, as if like social constructs aside, social norms aside, like they're just two of God's creatures just interacting
Yeah,
with each other in the way that animals would, like just like without judgment, without like social like
yeah,
prestructure.
like walls completely down, just two creatures
Hmm.
like together. Because we're all creatures if we think about it.
We're all
Whoa.
creatures. No, the creature is so like it's just so childlike
Yeah,
upon his initial reanimation that it's so heartbreaking
right?
because he so clearly like loves Victor.
Well, yeah, that's like the first thing that he sees. So he like kind of like views Victor like almost like in reverence because
Hmm.
that's like his whole world. Like he's looking at it. I think they like said that like later in the movie, but I think that's true.
Like,
Um and it's so interesting. I feel like the creature like his appearance, it almost like reminds me of like stained glass or like with
mm,
the like different like seams like that. He's so like artfully made,
yeah,
but it like when he is remade and like he like has like his first few minutes of existing, he's like scolded immediately. And it's
yeah,
so and it's weird like how you can like see Victor spends like so much time into like his creation that like once like he like crosses the finish line, he like no longer cares.
yeah. Like Victor like mentioned at one point, he was like, I hadn't necessarily considered what happens now.
Yeah, like what do you mean? You didn't think about like what happened when you made like a new life? You didn't really think about like the next steps? That's like, I don't know. Fucked up, man. It's fucked up.
And I think they do a really good job of like characterizing those first couple of weeks after like the reanimation, where it's like
Mhm.
Victor is complaining about not sleeping and he's complaining that like the only thing that the creature does is say his name or like babble and he doesn't understand. It's like that's a newborn.
Yeah, you have a baby.
That's an infant. You're a parent.
And be the mother that steps up. The baby needs you. But I really think it's cool how Jacob Elordi like did or portrayed like the physicality of the creature because I feel like
Hmm.
he's so it's so fascinating like watching like this giant like 6 foot whatever man like be so like ginger and moved so like deftly and like very like gingerly almost gracefully in like an interesting way
Yeah.
but like unnaturally. It was really cool like watching him move around
It's
because
very
it
gentle.
yeah it was cool too because it almost through like the like physical performance I feel like you really got the sense of like this is his first time like inhabiting like a bigger body, which wouldn't that be so weird like if you're like you're fresh out the womb and like you're like giant like you're a huge person
So bizarre.
like that'd be so strange.
Couldn't imagine that.
Right.
But I think that it's 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 so like heartbreaking too because like Victor like does like the first few seconds of life he's so excited and he's so kind to the creature all for that to like fade away so quickly.
Yeah.
And the first thing he does is like bring him down to the like awful river basement and chain him up. I was like, man,
Why you like throw him in the brig for? That's evil.
you show him the warmth of the sun and then you go into the basement.
To the pit. Get down
It's
there.
like what the fuck?
I've seen like some theories too where people when Victor is like, "Oh, like here embrace the sun or embrace he like I forget the exact line, but people were saying that the creature must have thought that he like Victor was calling him like the sun and not the actual like
Oh,
sun in the sky. But I don't know if that's like a reach or not. What do you think about that?
I would have to think. I would have to think about it more. It's a very
Mhm.
sad thought. I do think it's a little bit of a reach.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think he knew what the word sun meant.
I'm I've just been born. I don't know what that means.
I didn't think he's inclined to be like, oh my god, Victor
Warmth.
made warmth appear. Holy shit.
Dude.
It really hurts my eyes to look in, but it feels good.
Amen. I know that's right.
Victor's my number one op. I can't fucking believe he set that place on fire.
Yeah,
Number one
like
op.
number one hater. Like this dude like hated being a mom so much that he's like, you know what? Burn it. Burn it all down. Burn it all down.
Get rid of it. And he feels remorse at the end, where it's like he tries to go back for him. I'm like, you indecisive little creature.
If you're gonna burn it down, then burn it down, man. You can't like take it back. Oh, sorry.
You lost your leg, stupid. There are so many times in this where I feel like if there had been just a few more seconds, a few more follow through, if people had been a little faster, come back a little sooner, there are so many opportunities for the creature to have a bittersweet or like even happy ending to his story, but it's always just a
Yeah.
few seconds away.
Yeah. I
And
didn't think about that.
it's really rough.
Yeah, because like when their research place, so that castle is being burned to the ground, like Elizabeth and William like arrived like just like too late.
Mm-hmm.
I think that like continues on to like the second part of the movie too.
No, it totally does with I this isn't like the same point, but I just started thinking about the deer scene again and I got really sad.
So for context, we were like talking about this movie like a little bit like right after you like watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And weren't we saying that like he was like there's like a scene of like the creature in the forest where he's like he's offering like fruit from like a bush to like the deer and like
Mm-hmm.
his eyes are so like wet and shiny and so like innocent and we are like "Oh."
It really hurts. It really hurts.
Yeah, and that's the thing that Victor wanted to burn to the ground. That's
Those are
crazy.
literally like this fucking infant child who's just like, oh my god, this deer loves me. Like that's your enemy?
That's who you're trying to like destroy, man. Come
That's who you're
on.
fighting?
Evil.
It's it's fucked up.
It is.
God.
Didn't deserve that.
Humans are fucking evil.
They are, man.
And then this I almost cried there. I didn't cry, but I almost cried there. I absolutely cried at the old man.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt them like well up in my eyes and I'm like, no, get in there.
No.
Don't do it. No.
No, I cried. I for sure did. That's where the movie ends,
Okay.
by the way. Whenever he like meets the old man and they meet and they read stories together, the movie ends right there. You don't
Yeah.
need to watch it.
Exactly. You can just turn off the TV, turn off like shut your laptop. That's it. Game set match. You don't have to continue watching.
And he lives happily ever after.
The end.
I love that sequence. I love that being the way that he learns language is through living and caring for these people, and then when they
Yeah.
go off for the winter and the old man stays, like being a companion to the old man.
Yeah. Man, how beautiful is it that the one person that like saw him like one of like the people who like saw him most truly, they were blind, bro. Isn't that like poetic?
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, man. You made the sandwich for me. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. But I don't know.
But that's another example of just like if he had just been a little faster, gotten there a little sooner, that story could have had a happy ending.
Yeah, he could have saved the old man from being messed up by some wolves.
Fuck it. Fuck them
He could have
wolves.
been there.
Fuck them wolves, man.
Fuck them wolves, man. What do they have to do that for?
I think that the creature makes a very interesting kind of, there's like a really interesting bit of like monologue, dialogue in the in that section though, where he's talking about like how it is just kind of the nature of some things to fight. The hunter does not hate the wolves, and the wolves do not hate the sheep. It's just like kind of their doomed cycle to live so that each one of them can survive.
That's true. It's just the way of the world.
The food chain.
The food chain.
The food chain.
But that's the truth, though.
Yeah. There is no personal grievance in those things. It just is the way of nature. The wolf must kill the sheep to eat. The hunter must kill the wolf in order to not starve because they take their fucking sheep.
That's how it is on this bitch of an earth.
The sheep die, regardless of the outcome. Crying for the sheep.
They didn't know. No one knew. But it's also interesting, like how like a lot of like I feel like there was a lot of like white around that like particular like part of the movie. I feel like it was like cloaked in a lot of innocence with like
Yeah.
which is emblematic of the white.
And then that red, the blood.
Yeah.
That grief.
There it is again, dude.
Dude, when I see a plot device in a movie, ah!
Dude, there it is. I point.
Oh my god!
I've been paying attention, dude. Wait.
The entire wedding scene is also very fascinating. I feel.
I agree.
Big fan of the wedding scene. Let's hear it for Elizabeth's dress.
So pretty. I feel like it was once again like really insectoid. It like reminded me of like almost like a moth. Like so like I feel like she's like once again like being very like a representation of like organic life. Where like to parallel the creatures like created life or manufactured life.
I'm also a big fan of her sleeves. Very, very fun nod to the Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too when I like did my initial watch. I like trying to think. I remember I was watching it with Rigel and he was like, I don't know, it's supposed to be like something different. I'm like, no, I think it's Bride of Frankenstein.
No, it's totally Bride of Frankenstein. It is totally Bride of Frankenstein. Cause it's like the bandaging like around the arms, like yeah.
We see what you're doing, Mr. Del Toro.
Yeah.
We see it.
Very romantic guy, that guy. Very, very very into like the creature romance angle of these things. Because I believe like Del Toro did Shape of Water, correct?
Yeah, he did.
See? I see you.
There it is. He's a monster fucker.
I love the way he interacts with people on Twitter. I think it's the funniest thing ever because I saw someone like Guillermo del Toro directs movies in the same like cadence of like a woman like maladaptive daydreaming walking around a room, and he went, true.
Yeah. He is so funny.
It's really funny.
I feel like he loves like interacting with people on social media. It's really funny to watch because like people be like, "Oh, I wonder if this was this," and then he'll just like retweet and be like, like smiley face, like I think you are correct.
I think I love I love when directors and people like that interact with fans. I think it's so
Yeah,
funny. I know that they're not really supposed to. It's like a PR trade. Like, I don't give a fuck. It's funny.
yeah, it is. I think it's cool because like he as well if he made it, he's like I would think he'd be as big of a fan of it as we are. So I feel like he can like partake in enjoying the thing he created, which is cool. I would want to do that if I've
Yeah,
ever made like a
right?
movie or anything.
That's such a human thing to like want to talk about the thing you spent so much time on creating.
Yeah. Like I'd be out here like reposting art too. Like that's cool. Like I made that and then you made that. You made the sandwich for me, bro. Like
It is such like a pure form of appreciation to like create art
yeah,
like because of art, you know?
absolutely. I agree.
Fuck PR people. Fuck y'all for not letting the old man have a little bit of emotion.
Fuck the optics.
I just I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.
It's okay. We're just saying stuff. We're just saying it. And then I feel like it was interesting too how and in the very end at like the wedding scene, Victor carries Elizabeth to the cave and it's almost like she's like placed upon this like slab which is like it almost looks like a sacrifice or like something like that.
Oh, the yeah, when the creature brings Elizabeth to yeah, it's almost like an altar.
Yeah, an altar. That's a much better way to say it. Cuz like I think he like kind of views the creature kind of views Elizabeth in that like same like view of reverence that he like
Mhm.
once did for Victor.
Mhm. Mhm. Totally. Cuz and I think that like the fact that Elizabeth was like one of the first things that he was able to say is like kind of proof of that.
Mhm.
Like Victor gave him life, but Elizabeth like showed him compassion.
Like he was given life but he wasn't given like actual like heartwarming life. Like it's like
Mhm.
life in like two different ways. Like life as in creation and then life as in the life that you live.
Yeah.
That sounds stupid.
Like Will, like
Yeah, 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 that kind of
yeah. I
like
get it.
life and then like life, bro. Like
But I like I understood what you mean. Like they're two different things
thanks, man.
because being alive is not like
Yeah.
pursuit to live. And that was like one of the things he was so angry at Victor for doing was because he took away his like his earthly right to live and to die.
Yeah.
That was another scene where I cried, like Elizabeth's death. That really got me.
Yeah.
That really like like
No. She was like the only one who like saw him for who like he was, like internally.
and I think that like Elizabeth had like such a pursuit of pureness and like because that's one of the things that she had mentioned about why she likes entomology so much was because
Yeah.
she's in pursuit of like this pureness that is what she was searching for from the convent. But the creature had such a pure love of her that wasn't like
Yeah.
tainted by like lust or by like greed of estate or anything like it was just very pure admiration of her that Victor
Yeah.
did not have.
It was like the same kind of like wide-eyed like view that like a child like actually has for their mom. Like that
Hmm.
kind of thing. Like very innocent, pure view.
Yeah, I feel like very much of the same like kind of viewing like the creature and Victor as like foils for a moment, I feel like very much the same way that Elizabeth is like Mia Goth like plays like the mother and the muse for Victor. I feel like very much so it's like mother and muse for the creature as well.
Yeah. I didn't think about that, but I think you're totally right.
Also,
It
we kind of glazed over this. I would like to something that was also kind of funny to me. It's just like
mm.
whenever the creature was like, "Hey, can I have a friend?" and Victor was like, "What? So you can fuck?" And he's like, "Nobody said that.
Hey man, look, that's not what I said.
Nobody said that. You said that."
He just that's more of like a reflection on you. I
Yeah.
like
He's like, "What? So you can procreate?" And the creature's like, "What? So I can what?"
dude, I'm just lonely, man. Come on.
I don't know what that word means.
I'm 8.
Literally, I'm like, Victor, why do you think he knows what that is?
Why do you want your child to man, come on. But then that after that moment, the breaking point is when I feel like the creature becomes like the whole like the unrelenting
Mm,
plague that like follows like Victor until the very end.
definitely, because that like because if Elizabeth is supposed to be kind of symbolic of like empathy and like human emotion and like connection for him, she's gone. So
Yeah.
the only thing that would follow is wrath.
Yeah. The cycle of grief, man.
Mm-hmm. The cycle of grief. We're having like really, we're having like really in depth, like really intellectual conversation. This one, I can't wait for when we start talking about Willy's Wonderland.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited. I'm so excited, dude. Finette
Oh,
and Freddy.
but no, I totally agree. It's he does kind of like, especially with like the cloak and everything, like Franken, like he becomes like Victor Frankenstein's like symbol of death almost, like this looming force that like just continues to
Yeah.
follow him.
Like a literal like black cloud because that's like what he's shrouded in.
Mm-hmm.
Like unrelenting pursuit of Victor. Also, it's so interesting. I really thought how like the like overall like story was told like from like going back to like the first part, how like Victor is like recounting everything to that like the ship captain that we see the creature like chase Victor onto like said boat. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that was like an interesting way of like framing the story, and also like you said like made like Victor like we kind of like have doubt of him being like an unreliable narrator because he's the one recounting the story.
Yeah.
Mhm. But I thought that was a really interesting way of like tying like both sides together. Like you can see like how the chase began and also like how it ended in a cool way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I feel like kind of being put in that position, like forced, like actually forced just by the condition of his body to sit and listen to the story that the creature is telling him. I think that's where. Because I feel like we see it a little bit at the beginning where he's like, hey, you gotta like sacrifice me to this dude if like he comes onto the boat. Like, I feel like that's the beginnings of Victor kind of understanding, like, I think I fucked up.
Guys, I think something is wrong.
But I think the creature actually telling him the story is what kind of solidified it.
Like he was actually like able to see the error of his ways a little bit.
Yeah, he was like forced to listen to this creature who did not ask him for life, like did not ask him to do any of this.
I didn't ask to be born.
I,
But I think it's true.
it is true. It's like he was at peace. Like these people, these men that he's made up of are were at peace, and Victor through his own with the fucked up pursuit of glory, like stole that from them.
Yeah. Yeah, because they were all like on the battlefield. They're all like people who like had died in or, right?
I
Like,
think
and
that
that's where he like scooped them all up, I think.
he scooped some of them up that way for sure. I think that's some of it was criminals and such, right?
Uh, I think you're right. I think you're right. A new life created from death.
And look at
Also, can we talk about going back to the classroom scene? I just thought about it.
yeah, what's up?
When like Victor is like nailing up that the fucked up flesh creature. And it looks like the grandma from SpongeBob asking for chocolate.
What?
You don't know what I'm talking about.
I know
Have
what
you
you're
watched
talking about. I know what you're talking about. I'm just like the connection between those two things is really crazy.
I just like if we had to like do like a grim dark retelling of SpongeBob for some forsaken reason, that's what that creature would look like.
That's our next collab, by the way.
Oh, Guillermo del Toro just like retell SpongeBob.
No, you know, legitimately. Do you know what that scene reminded me of?
What did it remind you of?
The way that I feel like they had to have done it a similar way. That scene reminds me of a scene in The Return of the Living Dead. Because in The Return of the Living Dead, there is a scene where there's a zombie put down on like an operating table, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And the spine and like it's an upper body like separate, like it's an upper body separation, so you see the spine moving around and like the rest of
Mm-hmm.
the body. I feel like they had to be made a similar way. Like the puppetry for that
Mm-hmm.
had to be similar. That's what I
Has to
thought.
be.
That's what I thought of.
Oh. I just thought about that just now. Like that like lightning rod like came into my or like my was
You're
struck
like,
by
it's
lightning
SpongeBob.
in that way. That was the thing that my brain was like, you know what? This is important to say right
No, that's awesome. I do see what you mean. It's just really funny. It's just not where my head went at all.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. That's awesome. Oh shit. Um, this is a little bit back in the timeline as well, but like the scene where Elizabeth meets the creature for the first time and she's like fucking she's like touching on him.
Uh,
You know what I'm talking about, right? She's like touching his chest and stuff.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's a cut like under his chest, and like if you pair that to like the way that the arm, like not armature, like the conductor for the electricity that the body was strung up on is like very crucifix in nature. It's very Christ
Yeah.
like that like slice under his breast.
Yeah, that's true. Cause that's always like in like the crucifixion statues of like Jesus. He has like that same similar I pick up what you're putting down. I see it. I see it.
That was like one of the like the symbolism and like imagery moments that like made me sit up when I was like watching it.
You like leaned in, you're like, dude.
I was like, dude, the body of Christ.
Lay before me, dude.
I keep like looking away from the mic to laugh.
It's okay. Let it out. Let it be free.
Ah.
Trying
Fuck.
to think if there's anything else we didn't talk about.
Oh, like the ending scene where he's just like where he
Oh,
like I cried like a bitch.
oh yeah, me too.
He was like my son, and they gave him the pat on the head. Fuck off.
They like broke the cycle.
He's like, you have to live just for the pursuit of life, and I'm like,
Yeah, I will.
well. He's like, I forgive you, and I'm like,
I mean, isn't that like what we all want though from if we have like damaged relationships with our parents, I feel like that's what we long to hear, that like that phrase of like, hey, I was wrong,
Yeah.
you know, from whoever wronged you. I should make it more broad.
No, I totally get what you mean. Just like the admittance of wrongdoing
Yes. I think we all crave that.
and like the request of forgiveness.
Yes.
No, I totally get that. It's very Guillermo del Toro and his fascination on the relationship of father and son. Uh,
Well, this is a good movie to do it with.
I know it is really good. Pinocchio as well.
Really? I never saw that one. I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either, but I was like reading up a little bit, and it was like he was talking about how like the two movies that he really really wanted to do was Pinocchio and Frankenstein because of the the exploration of the relationship between father and son.
Hmm.
And I was like, well, you
I
did
remember,
it.
man, you did it, dude. I remember seeing that his like one of the like stories that he really wanted to create was Frankenstein. So I think he did it. And it's so
Yeah.
interesting too. I don't know if like if you've seen like behind the scenes footage at all. I've kind of like come across it in passing. But like it's so funny how he like Mr. Del Toro is so caring for like Jacob Elordi, like when they're on the set, like you can like just see them like hugging each other like so like gently, and like in interviews. Um Mr. Guillermo like always talks about how like Jacob Elordi has such like a like an old soul, like an old caring soul. And I'm like, that's so sweet.
Yeah, I've seen the let's direct a movie with Papa pictures. Yeah, I've seen those.
Let's direct a movie with Papa.
Let's let's adapt gothic literature with Papa.
Yay. But man, talk about, I don't know, Jacob Elordi. I feel like I didn't really, there's been a lot of girlies thirsting for Jacob Elordi for like the longest time. I didn't really get it. I was like, okay, like, oh, he's like a big man, whatever. I saw him, he played Elvis in Priscilla, and I was kind of like, hmm.
I
Much
was
to think about here. And then he played the creature in this movie. And I'm like, okay, I think I've been converted. I think I kind of get it.
I was like I was gonna say like I was like I didn't get it till now.
There's something so like in like I want to say like enchanting about like watching how he like moves like through this movie.
No, for
Like his physicality is just so interesting to me. I feel like I keep on harping about it, but like watching him move around, I'm just like, whoa, it's so
whoa.
cool.
I 100% agree. I think it's I was like, thank God we gotta get you out of Euphoria.
Oh, dude, right?
I was like reading up a little bit on an article about Franken's about the movie, and it was
Mhm.
like it credited him as being in Euphoria. I was like, stop.
He's so much bigger than Euphoria now, and I'm like looking forward to like seeing him do more and more things.
Yeah. Truly, truly, truly. He's an actor that I definitely want to see in more stuff because he seems like he is genuinely a very good actor.
Mhm. And I hope he like is in more like gothic things like this. It seems like
Yeah.
he like really like sunk his teeth into it.
Mm-hmm. Apparently they had to do very few like retakes for him.
He was locked in.
He was. He was like, thank God I don't have to play an abusive boyfriend.
Oh my god, dude.
No, but
Let him
I
out of
imagine
it, Euphoria.
that has to be part of it, right? Like, because when you have such a big role like that, I feel like you are like fighting tooth and nail not to get typecasted. He was like, I can't play
Yeah.
abusive men for the rest of my career. I can't do it.
No, dude. Please, I'm more than this. Please, I'm more than like
Please.
a high schooler. Like Evil man, please.
He did a good job. I'm proud of him.
Me too.
Like I know it.
Good job, Mr. Lordy.
He's like,
High five, man. All right, this pink and purple creature, thanks, I guess.
yeah, whatever. What's that on your head?
Ew. Don't look at those. My horns. My hooves.
Those are her hooves, you bitch.
My hooves.
Oh,
I cried at that last shot too, where he's like looking into, and I thought it was such like a cool detail about how they had only one eye, like for the creature. Like one eye was like sclera and the other was so I thought that was like so like he was so interesting to look at.
yeah.
And he had like I don't know what it's called. I know there's like some technical term where like I feel like it's like a lot of like cat or like feline creatures, like when their like eye catches the light, it like kind of reflects. You know what I mean?
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
That happened a lot with the creature too, and I feel like that added like a weird like otherworldly thing to his appearance that like you didn't really pick up on unless you like really like looked at him.
No, I completely agree. It totally did. It was very like realistic too because of that film that dead bodies start to get over their eyes.
I didn't think about that. But yeah, that makes sense.
It's very, very, very cool creature design.
Mhm.
I appreciate because it's the design of the creature is so much more surgical. And I really like
Yeah,
when people go really surgical rather than like patchwork.
I agree.
I think it showed Victor's understanding of the way that the human body works and the way that muscles are laid on top of each other.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Like if he's gonna like be studying it for however long, it would make sense that like he would know like exactly like the actual like body composition.
No, it makes total sense. It makes total sense.
And
And I
it's more
like
interesting than like two staples on the forehead.
yeah, bolts on the neck.
Yeah.
That design is iconic. That design is super iconic and it's very fun, but I feel like we've seen it so much.
Yeah.
Plus I think
It was due
Universal
for
owns that design. I think that they get kind of touchy if people use it.
that makes sense. But it's also it's played out anyway, so
I think that's why they couldn't make Frankie green for Monster High. And
Oh, really?
I think so. I could be making that up, but I think that there was some like conflict about making her like green in the reboot.
Huh.
They're like, she has to be
Interesting.
blue. I could be making that up. I
Blue.
think I'm right though.
I think you're right. I trust you.
I do want to talk about the costuming for a minute, just like the costuming in general, because holy shit!
Yeah, of course. It's
Oh my
so
god!
pretty.
Oh my god! Mia Goth looks so gorgeous in this movie.
She does.
She's so
I
beautiful.
really like all all of her dresses. I really thought it was interesting how they like played on like the organic thing like we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of other things, but I'm sure you what do you have on your mind? Tell us.
Her green dress, like the lacing up the back, looking like vertebrae whenever she's like,
Yeah.
it's so cool. I like all of like the insectoid like colors, like they use like those really bright like vibrant beetle greens and
Yeah.
butterfly blues and stuff for her. I thought that was really good. I love her blue veil. I love the blue veil so
Mhm.
much.
Very pretty. Like it reminds me of like a moth. I feel like it's like beetle moth inspiration with like carried through like a lot of her costuming and design.
Mm-hmm.
And like all of her patterns were very like organic, which I thought was
Yes.
really cool. Like in like the green dress, like you like have like the little I'm looking at a picture right now. It's like it almost reminds me of like rings of a tree.
Yeah, totally.
Mhm.
I also like her more simple costumes were also very, very good, like the nightgown and the candelabra.
Yeah. That was like such like a powerful image like of her like long ass hair, like stark white dress, like down those like the mossy overgrown steps, dude. It was so pretty.
That's the moment where I was like, cinema's back, baby.
Hell yeah.
Gothic cinema's back.
Ooh, baby, that's what I'm talking about.
It is. It is what I'm talking about. Also, like this is a lighting thing, but the way the lighting would like peer through like the kind of like sheer like white fabric to like show the shape of her body.
Yes. I love when that happens, dude. It's the
I leaned
best.
forward like I was looking into a camera, but like like for emphasis, but like dude.
Making eye contact on the other side right now. I'm looking
Yeah.
into the camera like I'm on The Office. I'm like, dude, did you see
It's
that?
so gorgeous.
I didn't realize this either. Like in her wedding dress, I'm seeing like pictures about it. Like on her like the wedding dress's like bodice, it looks kind of like muscle, like the muscle system. I didn't realize that.
Oh shit.
Like the how like the corsetry kind of looks. Hold on, let me for evidence, let me put it here.
Oh, yeah, totally. I totally see what you mean.
It's so cool.
I think that having the like that organza like material on top of it to create that film over the red like bleed out is very cool too. It adds like a
Mhm.
really nice texture to it.
It like makes it look like ethereal, like almost, or like
Yeah.
dreamlike. It's cool.
And I like that this is like a huge pet peeve of mine in movies, and there's no excuse for it now because back then, like color grading and everything, and like you had to make movies cheap, like I understood it.
Yeah.
I really like that they went more brown on the blood.
Mhm. I don't like it when it's too red. Like it looks like grenadine. It like takes
Yeah.
me out.
Like older
I
movies, like
agree.
they had like there's only so much you could do, but I don't think we have an excuse anymore for like bright red blood.
Right. Guys, we can do better.
Yeah, I'm looking at you.
Everybody, you in the audience, we could do better.
We can. We have the technology.
We have the technology.
But my one thing, I wish that there would have been a wider release for the theatrical releases for this.
Yeah. I
I
feel
would
like
have
I
loved to
missed
see this
out.
in theaters.
Yeah, right? I think it would have been very magical to like see it in like an actual theater.
I agree.
I'm very
Netflix.
jealous. The Netflix, what the hell?
But
Also, I feel
oh,
like
go
I've
ahead.
seen like art books and things like that too, and I'm like, oh, to look at the art book and everything.
Oh, I want an art book for this so bad.
Pretty. What were
It's
you gonna say? I'm sorry.
I don't remember.
Oh no.
It's fine. Um, no, man, it's gone.
Well, I'm sorry I killed it. That's evil.
Oh, the colors. It was a color thing.
Hmm.
That I didn't talk about those in my notes. The grandiose laboratories for mad scientists are back. Thank
Yeah.
God. I'm so
Thank
tired
God.
of little dingy, like tiny little rooms with an operating table. This was a beautiful lab.
Hmm. It was very
And
interesting how it was like coated in like green.
yeah. That was one of that was the color thing that I was gonna bring up. It's just like the green. I love green glass. I think the green glass is so
Hmm.
pretty.
I agree.
It is very reminiscent of the time period because a lot of medical, like serums and liquid medicines, like they came in green glass. Like I have some
Mhm.
of those like green glass like collectible like little
Hmm.
like antique bottles. Like I own some of them because I think that they're so pretty.
They're really pretty.
But I really liked the green and the gold together. I thought that was really
It's such a good color combo.
nice. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's like even the lab itself is like very reminiscent almost of like it's like reminiscent of like religious like chapel like
Yeah, like with the cathedral windows and
mm-hmm
stuff like that. I agree.
I feel like that's very good. There's a lot of really, really good visual storytelling
Mhm.
where it's just like harkening back to Victor's like pursuit of this like godlike like
Yeah,
achievement.
I
And
I
I
definitely agree.
and I think like having the green and the gold together is like very it's like the melding of like science and nature.
Mhm.
I think it's good. I think it's very good.
I agree.
Guillermo del Toro, you cooked with us.
Dude, you have you directed movies before or something? You're pretty
Yeah.
good at this.
You're you're pretty good at
Like,
this.
hey man, I think you should consider this as a career.
Oh my god. What would you want to see him do? Do you think?
The Phantom of the Opera.
The Phantom of the Opera. That would
I
be
feel like he could
awesome.
like go crazy with everything with the designs and the storytelling. I feel like he could have interesting
That I feel like that would be right up his alley.
What
I
about you? What
would
do you think?
I would love Jekyll and Hyde.
Ah, I'm like
Je-
not super familiar with that story, like aside from like reference,
I'm
but I don't know much about the story itself.
I'm more familiar with the musical.
Ah.
Damn you, Hyde! Leave me be.
But I think that would be really cool. I think he would play a lot with the visual storytelling again with that also.
I feel like you would find a way to make that about the relationship between the father and the son.
I mean, you
the
know,
the creation of Hyde.
do more life, nature versus nurture. Run it back. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Guillermo del Toro, like call us. We got ideas.
Hey, if you're ever bored, we got stuff for
If
you.
you ever want consultation from two people not in the film industry,
Yeah.
what are your qualifications? We're VTubers.
Yes. I'm very creative.
I like movies.
I like movies.
Do you have anything else?
I feel like we've talked about almost everything. I can't think of anything to say. I think we've yapped.
I think so. I think so.
Well, everybody, thanks so much for hanging out with us today while we talked about Frankenstein. Tune in for the next episode where we're talking about weapons, which will be very fun. But in the meantime, don't panic. We'll see you next time.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Bye.